How you doing, everybody? Randy Richard in the shop. Today is part 2 of the turret action on the Logan Lathe. I should be able to finish it up in this video, but I'm going to show you a couple of special tools that I use on the turret. I'm going to take them apart and show you those, and I do a little repair on the one. Get with that, and we'll get the project done also. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Join in the fun. Lots of projects to go. Thanks a lot, you guys. And we'll see you on the next one. I took this little drill holder apart. I mentioned that there's a rubber, disc in there. This is what it looks like. That's in there. This is the body, hole all the way through, about 3/8, about 8 millimeters. And this here rubber piece is mounted around this, like kind of like a big O-ring, and that gives you that cushion for it to move around. And then it's locked down with this ring here. But I had another real reason to take it apart, is that it's cracked right here and over here, through here. I figured, well, I can make a new one of those. I needed to make one of these anyway to hold the drill. I didn't have one that was the right size for a number 7 drill. This is the number 3 drill. Made one of those to hold the drill itself, and then this is 1/2 inch here. And I made a new part for the broken one, but I made this a little longer, which is fine. There's no real constraint on that. So made it a little longer. It's a little thicker, and it came out really nice. Made out a piece of 4140. This one is hardened actually. File skates on this thing, but I made out a piece of 4140, which should be plenty strong enough and wear resistant enough for what I do. Assemble this. Put this back together. This is a pretty soft rubber. There we go. That went right on. And those little notches, align on the pins. Hey, I feel like they're locked in there. And we gotta get that down and screwed in. I'm gonna take that over to the vise and to hold this, push that down and get that spun in there. Have that tightened down, and this new drill holder will go right in there. And actually making this a little longer made it better access to that set screw. This set screw was right up there next to this, very hard to get to. So that actually helped this out quite a bit. And you'll notice there's a flat on there. We'll just line those up and rebuilt, kind of refurbished and rebuilt. Boy, it'd be easy to make these. Really, they're pretty simple. It's just that rubber part, coming up with something, a solution for that. But that's nice, and you can see how that's flexible. There you go. We're ready to put it back into the turret. This is another special tool that works really good with turret lathes. This is a geometric die head. Now this one is a 9/16 D. That's the size of it. I'm not sure what the 9/16 really stands for, but the dies are 9/16 wide, so that might be it. Anyway, I'm going to show it to you real quick. I know some of the other guys have shown these. This came with my lathe, and it came with some various sets of they're called chasers, actually. Thread chasers is what they're called. They're dies. How it works. This one here is, like I said, 9/16 D, and it's about 2.5 inches across in diameter. Here, if I stand behind you, you probably see better. And then there's different kinds of dies that go in it. To release it, you just got to pop it out a little bit, pull out the shell here, and it releases, it pops open. And that's how it stops when it's threading, and you'll see that when I use it. Then you pull this pin up, open it a little bit more. Now these are released. Now they have to go in the right order. They're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and the number's stamped on the face also. Then there's you just slide in. There's a little detent thing here to catch in that notch in the back, which is also it's curved. You can see that. So there's different dies, different sizes. Bigger heads, of course, can do bigger stock. The hole goes all the way through the middle. This one's about 3/8 inch hole through the center. So you could run a continuous threaded piece, or you can make a long thread, actually, So what I have in here now is a 1/4 28 die, which we're going to use. A few things about dies or chasers. There are different styles. This one here is flush with the front. I'm going to show you a couple others. This set is a 9/16 20 set, and you'll see how these ones, you have to turn it sideways, these ones protrude from the front. That's the front where the stamping is. So when you put it in there, it sticks out 1/8 of an inch or so from the front. This allows you to get really close to a shoulder. Now these ones here will do close to a shoulder, but these ones allow you to really get close, literally right up to the shoulder. Now I'll be able to get up to the shoulder with these, but these ones have that protrusion on them, so you can really get up there if there's anything else in the way. And then there's the other ones are actually the opposite of that, and these ones are set back. Can you see that there? How here they're set back from the front. For whatever reason you might want that. I can't think of a particular one right this minute, but you might want that type of thing. There are basically those 3 styles of dies, but you have to get the right size dies and all that. So you put them back in until they clip into the retainer. Then you release it again, and you release it again. You pull it back up, and it locks into place. Now it's ready to cut some threads in the position it's in now. It's locked in. Now this has also a fine adjust on it. There's 2 set screws. Let's see here. One's right here, and then right over here there's another one. And they're a push type setup. Here's the range of motion you have right here. That pin in that slot. They give, it's about that much range. And then there's a scale also right here on the side here, which is probably very hard to see, but it's engraved in. And there's a 0 point and a smaller, larger symbol, S and L, on there. So you can adjust how deep those threads are, right? You can fine-tune adjustment of it. So you'll do a practice and see if that's the right depth you want, whether you have a gauge, a thread gauge to screw on there, or you measure it with a set of wires, or a thread micrometer, or you're testing it to a piece that you need it to fit. Or you can fine-tune adjust it to cut smaller or larger threads. So when it gets to the point where you want to stop your threading, actually it's just a little bit before, because what's going to happen is this part's going to come out. You'll stop the turret, and then the thread will keep cutting, obviously, but it pulls a little bit farther, about 1/16 of an inch, and it pops out. So here, when it pulls 1/16 of an inch, and it pops open. Boom! It stops threading. So that's part of the setup on the turret, is that distance where you want to stop and where the threading's going to stop. It's 2 different things. You back it off. You just back it off with it open, and you clip it over and reset it again. Very, very simple. Actually, these work really well. They're not cheap. This one came with my lathe, but $200-300 is not unusual to pay for one of these things. So if you find one cheap, If you want one, you pick it up. Now, this one has a straight shank on it. If that had a Morse taper on it or something, you could use it in your tailstock real easy. This one has a straight shank. It's a 5/8 on there. It's kind of been beat up, but I've cleaned it up a little bit and it works fine because it doesn't turn or anything. It just clamps into the turret. I've also made an adapter so I can put it into a Morse taper number 2. I think I did a little video on making that quick adapter. I took an old drill. Took an old drill, cut off the end with part of the shank, made an adapter piece, set screws, and so I can use it in my tailstock. Actually, I got that idea from Adam Booth there, A-Bomb 79. We'll go put it in the turret. I have all my tools in the turret here for the next part of the little legs, and what we're going to do is we're going to make the feet. Now the feet are turned down here to 1/4 of an inch for 3/4 of an inch, threaded quarter 28. Probably take just a skim cut on there and part it off. Pretty simple. Turn it down, thread it, and then skim cut part off. We got the same tool here for setting the depth as we pull it out of the collet. The center drill's still in here because I'm going to be using it again, and I didn't want to change its setting, so I just left it in there. Now I have here, this is a boring head, a 1 inch, actually it's a 1 inch Criterion boring head. It's a fairly old one. It's works really well, but that's okay. And what I have in here is a tool bit holder. Now this is just a shop made one. I didn't make it, but it came with the lathe. It is what it is, but it's fairly beefy. And it has a 1 inch shank on it, so I put it in the boring head, put a 5/16 tool bit in here, high-speed steel, and I have it set up so I can cut this in one cut since it's aluminum. I adjusted the boring head. I did several cuts, worked it in, adjusting the boring head. It comes up to within plus or minus 1,000. And the next one is the geometric die head. And right now it's open. What I did is I'm going to show you, what I want to do is show you about setting this up. So I have it open, and I bring it up over the piece, and where it stops, that's where I adjust my stop so the chasers don't hit the shoulder. We're talking about 32nd I think I have in there right now. So about 40 thousandths in there of a gap. And I did that with my stops on the end of the turret that I showed you before. Back that off. I can push this over and lock that in. Closed it, what's considered closed. So it's ready to cut the threads. So what I'll do now is I'll cut and I've opened it up. I should say I set it to the largest point on the scale for the shallowest cut. So the thread should be big. And that way I can test the threads. I'm going to test the threads on one of the pieces we previously did on the end, and we'll see how the fit is. And we'll adjust it until we get the right thread fit. Special thread cutting fluid, WD-40. So you just bring it up and it should align. And we're not very aligned. Oh, it didn't lock right. Okay, there we go. We're locked in now. Then we'll just bring it up and let her cut. It's just pulling, and we're gonna when we stop, it pulls it out and pops it open, and it's right there where we want it to be. So there's some threads, nice and easy. Move it out of the way. Actually, let's see. Now it goes on there a little bit, but three turns. I'm going to adjust it. And then we'll swing this around again. And it will go right back on the threads. It will catch itself. Just bring it up gentle and you'll catch itself. Hands are slippery. that's still a little bit. It could be just a tad more. Not much, but a little bit. So we'll lock it closed, and I'll come a little more. I think that's probably pretty good. I might need to run bottoming tap down in these holes. I think I'll just leave it there, and we'll be good to go. I'll run a tap down in this one, and then test it. After running a bottoming tap into this piece, I can screw it down here to within a little less than 1/8 of an inch. So that'll be fine. Ready to do one. I added a chamfer tool for the end, but let's do one, and we'll see how they all come out. There we go. Test one. And we'll be popping them back in and facing that off and dressing them up a little bit and chamfering both edges. This is the stage of putting the 1/4-20 hole in the other end. I put on the chuck. This is my 6-jaw Adjust True buck chuck. It's nice and accurate. I have it all dialed in. Less than 1/2 thousandths probably. It's really nice to be able to hold something. It's right off from the other turning of the other end, and we're just going to be able to slip it in there, and it's going to be right on the money. And all we're going to do is drill this hole and tap it 1/4-20. It's 1 inch deep. We got our stop, just so we can adjust the stop, the stick out of the piece in the lathe, I should say, right? We're going to set it for 1.5 inches. Then we're going to come around, and I took out the center drill, and I put a spotting drill in. It's a little longer, and it worked out a little better on the length because I had to pull this out even. And then in this drill holder, a number 7 drill, and then we got the 1/4-20 spiral fluke tap. So it's a dead end hole, so that makes the chips come out. Very tiny bit of tension on the chuck, and then so it pushes in, tighten it up. Little WD. Now I didn't chamfer that, or I'm not going to chamfer this hole, because I have the spotting drill set to a depth that provides the chamfer. Well, I'm down to the last steps here, and we're taking the feet, facing, and a little couple chamfers, and we're just using the collet and turning them. Nothing special here. Just, you know, collet grabs the threads real nice and not without damage. And I'm giving it a little Scotch-Brite buff, and so there's no wire edges on those. And that's it. And we'll be able to put them together. The legs are done. This video was more, not so much about what the project was. My intent of the video was more about the turret attachment for the lathe and some of the special tooling that goes with it. You know, that you can use on a turret, I should say. You know, there's a leg, there's a foot or a leg. Quarter 20, this quarter 20 screw on this end, and the quarter 28 thread is on for the foot adjustment. They all came out real nice. Pretty happy about that. I did have a couple mishaps and broke a couple taps. Yeah, sometimes that happens when you're doing that stuff on the lathe. That can happen. What I figured out what happened was one of my drills slipped, and it slipped back into the holder, and so the hole wasn't deep enough for the setting I had for the tap, right? So it hit the bottom, and that broke the tap. It took me obviously a couple tries before I figured out exactly what went wrong, and you know, and I went back and I checked things after the first time, of course, but. Yeah, it happens. But anyway, everything came out really good, and I'm real happy with them. And so, hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about the turret or the tools that I used on the turret, some of those tools, like I said, you could use in a tailstock even. So, you know, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them or show them or give you more details. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe. And we'll have more projects coming.